Hi everyone. This week I have a giveaway for you. Let's get to it. Hi everyone, I'm Sandy and welcome back to my channel. Today I do have a 1001 book countdown video for you, but I also have a very special giveaway celebrating my 100th book read off of the 1001 book countdown. Amazing milestone. Still so happy to have met that, and I thought I would celebrate that with a little giveaway, which I'll talk about at the end of the countdown video. So stay tuned for that. I'm very thrilled that I get to offer some things for that. But for today, if you're not familiar with the 1001 book countdown, it is a passion project of mine where I'm reading books off of the 1001 books you must read before you die list, and I'm slowly making my way through that list. I started this about a year and a half ago or so and have managed to scrape off about 103 books off of the list. So making slow progress. If you are curious about more details, I will certainly leave a card up here for you where you can go and check out the original video where I talk about all of what I'm doing. But I've been working on this as a passion project for a number of years and just started documenting my way through it on YouTube when I got to right around 1,000 books left. Because of course there's not 1,000 books, there's 1,300 books if you combine all the editions together. I know. So hopefully you consider giving me a subscribe and sticking around and seeing how far I make it through this massive project of mine. But for today, what we will do is put up the numbers where to our 898. I keep wanting to say 900. Nope, 898 and 3. 3 represents the number of books that I have left for this year. Every year at the beginning of the year, I pre-select 52 books with the idea that those are the ones that I would like to focus on. And that number just helps me keep track of a smaller number that gives me the ability to see how much progress I'm actually making throughout the year. I have 3 books left for 2022. Not too shabby. I'm getting there. So close. 2 weeks left? 2 weeks left. So we'll see. We'll see. It's gonna be tight. But for today, what we will go ahead and do, I already did that. Never mind. So the first book that I'm going to talk about is actually this one, Regeneration by Pat Barker. This book was originally published in 1991 and is the first of a trilogy. Weirdly, only the first and the third book are actually on the list. The second book is not. I don't know why they did that. But yeah, and then Pat Barker has one other book on the countdown, so there's 3 out there. This particular book is actually a kind of not a retelling, but is based on real characters, but it is definitely a work of fiction. And I'm not actually going to say much about this book today as part of this countdown. And the reason for that is because I'm doing this as a buddy read with Margaret Pinard, and we are going to do a live show on Sunday, December 18th at 11 a.m. Pacific time to talk about this book, possibly just Pat Barker, about whatever else comes to mind, I'm sure. So hopefully you join us. I don't do a lot of live shows. This will be my second one ever since I started my channel. I don't know why live shows seem so scary to me. I'm not sure why, but we will be discussing Pat Barker's Regeneration in that live show. So I hope you join us. But for today, what I will do is I will go ahead and reduce down the numbers because I did finish this, and then I will post information about the live show as soon as it becomes available. But with this book, we get to go from 898 to 897, and it was on the 2022 list. So we go from 3 down to 2. Yay! All right, but I do have one other book for you, and this book I selected because of the World Cup Reading Challenge. If you're not familiar with the World Cup Reading Challenge, it is hosted by Mark over at Book Time with Elvis, where you are given a country that's competing in the World Cup. And throughout the tournament, you may change teams if your team loses, things like that. And I now have Argentina. Argentina is going to the finals of the World Cup on Sunday as well. So I'm happy about that. So I ended up picking a book for Argentina, knowing that my team had lost to them. And the book that I ended up picking up for that was The Kiss of the Spider Woman by Manuel Puig. And thank you very much to Aaron over at Aaron Go Reads for giving me a phonetic spelling of the last name. I can't say I'm still saying it right, but I'm trying. So thank you so much for that, Aaron. I really do appreciate that. This book was originally published in 1987 and was translated, it looks like, in the same year by Alan Baker. That's the edition, this one that I have is that translation. And this actually is a play. play featuring two characters for the most part. There are a couple other ones in there, but for the most part, it's two characters, these Valentine and Molina, and they are in jail, in prison. And it is, they are just going back and forth, having conversations in their jail cell, dealing with everything that goes along with being in jail. They are also at the same time, though, Molina is really sharing this movie that he had seen. And so there's kind of this weird, not weird, but different flashback thing, out of the prison cell where now you're in this other story, and it makes it a little bit muddy in there, trying to understand who's talking, who's really where, what part of the story are we in with this. But really, this felt to me like the two characters just building a relationship and trying to understand the other's perspective, which are very, very different. It is an interesting play. I don't read a ton of plays, so for me this was very difficult to follow at a lot of points, but this has been adapted into both theater and into a movie starring William Hurt and Raul Julia, and I did watch that, and let me tell you, that movie brought this play into perspective for me, and William Hurt is magnificent in this. Just his body language and his gestures. He wears makeup. He dresses a little bit more feminine in it, and he was absolutely incredible in that. And so I just really appreciated being able to watch the adaptation after reading this, because it really gave me just a little bit more appreciation for the book. Because I think, or for the play, because I think originally I would have rated this a little bit lower, but then after having watched the adaptation, I'm intrigued now. I just, the one thing is that the movie continues on. The play, as it's written, actually stops when one of the characters gets out of prison. So yeah, it's a little bit different in there. Kind of the ending's a little bit different, but yeah, lots of nuanced language kind of going on in this that really were pulled together from the actual adaptation. So there's also a lot of kind of intrigue in this, and is one person going to betray the other? All of that also exists in this play. And so yeah, it's really a different kind of one for me. Like I said, I just don't read a lot of plays, so I was happy to have read it. But with this Kiss of the Spider Woman, I get to go from $8.97 to $8.96, but it was not on the 2022 list. It was a very late ad at 78-page book, so that number has to stay at 2. The other stuff that I'm working on, I am of course working on The Brothers Karamazov by Dostoevsky. You can see there's 2 bookmarks in here. This bookmark, the first one, is actually where I'm at right now. This bookmark here is where I was supposed to be on Thursday night. So I am officially behind on this. I just had a period of about 4 or 5 days where I didn't want to pick this up. Instead, I read Six of Crows by Leigh Bardugo, and I read Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo. I finished Regeneration, but I just didn't feel like picking this one up. So I'm slowly picking this one up over the next couple of days and hoping to still finish on my schedule that I wanted to, which would have been the 20th. But this is one of the 2 books I have left. The other one remains over here on my shelf. Tirant Leblanc, haven't opened it. We'll see how I do. My last countdown will actually be on New Year's Eve on the 31st, the last countdown of 2022. So we'll see how it goes. But those are the only 2 books I have left on the countdown. Yay! All right, so the next thing, my giveaway. I'm very thrilled to be able to give away 3 of my favorite books from the 1001 Countdown and 2 of my least favorite if people want them. The first book that I will be giving away, in order to enter the giveaway, you only have to leave a comment. Leave a comment with what books you'd be interested in. If you are the only one, then you will automatically win that book. If you are not the only one, then I will do a drawing for each of the books and then get them out into the mail as soon as I possibly can. But there's no other requirement to entering. Just leave a comment, and if you win, great. Hopefully you win. But the first book is going to be Kristin Lavransdatter by Sigrid Undset. This is a 3-part series of Kristin Lavransdatter is the main character's name. Absolutely delightful book. I think it ended up, I don't remember what position it ended up on my countdown, but it was definitely in the in the top 10 of the first 100 books. I highly recommend this book. It is a chunky book. It's going to take some time to get through, but it is well worth the investment. And there's some shocks and some twists and turns in in this one that I thought were really amazing parts of the story. But really, poor Kristen, it goes from when she's a young girl to when she's an old woman. And so it is absolutely worth a read. But this is the first book that I'm giving away. It's also very heavy. The second book is my number 2 book that was on the countdown, or on the top 10, and it is Cat's Eye by Margaret Atwood. No, it's not my pretty Bloomsbury edition, so sorry about that. This is a coming of age story with a young girl whose name is Elaine, and I absolutely adored this book. So yeah, this was my number 2. And then my number 1 was Tin Flute by Gabrielle Roy, and I do have this copy. I will forewarn you, it is a little beat up. I did get it from a used bookstore, but my version, when I went and looked, I thought, oh, I'll just give someone my version. It's in almost the exact same condition, and so this one is a little bit rougher, so don't expect this one to be new. You see here, it definitely has some yellowing pages, some older pages in it, and it smells like a library book, an old library book. So it smells very much like an old book, but I would love to send this to someone who would love to read The Tin Flute. This was my number 1 book out of the top, from the first 100. And then the 2 books that are on the bottom of the barrel for me, not bottom, but they are the 2 books that were in my bottom 10 that I'm going to be giving away, is 1Q84 by Haruki Murakami. This is another brick of a book, but if you would like this one, definitely leave a comment down below for me. And then the other one is On the Road by Jack Kerouac. I don't see myself ever reading this book again. It just isn't one that worked for me, but I imagine someone would absolutely love to read this book, even though it wasn't one that worked really well for me. And then as a bonus, I have one book journal that I got from Barnes & Noble. If someone would like this as well, please definitely let me know. I'd be happy to throw it in one of these packages. So that is my giveaway. Unfortunately, I cannot send books internationally. It really would have to be in the US that I could send to. Otherwise, it would be cost prohibitive. So yeah, that's the books that I have for you. So let's see if we can do a stack. We have On the Road by Jack Kerouac, 1Q84 by Haruki Murakami, The Tin Flute by Gabrielle Roy, Cat's Eye by Margaret Atwood, oh boy, and Kristen Lavren's Dagger. These are the books that are up to be given away. Leave a comment down below for me, and I will do a drawing in, I think, about a week or so. But these are the books that are eligible for giveaway. As always, like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, everyone, this is heavy. All right.